Welcome back to the Hearth's Edge, my loves. I'm Magic Mom, your companion in the unraveling, and this is Hearth's Edge Unraveled, Episode 2. Forgiveness at the Hearth's brink. Last time, your shadow whispered back, or at least I hope she did. Tonight, however. Tonight she asks for mercy. For the times that we betrayed ourselves the very deepest. But first, let's pull a card or two. Goes. Tonight, we have the Six of Cups reversed sliding out, and beneath it was the Queen of Cups again. So, nostalgia turned inward. Old cups spilled so new ones can be filled. But this time, our queen's holding the broken pieces like they are sacred. As they are. And the message, my friends, is clear. Forgiveness begins at home. Inside the very chest where your beautiful heart is beating right now. The one that still remembers every I knew better. So, we have no guest tonight. So it's just going to be you, me, the fire, and, well, I guess a story from my very own hearth. Story way back from the before time. 2014. One that still burns a little bit when the wind shifts. So, breathe with me, my friends. Let's step to the brink together once again. And now for the unraveling. So, back in the fall of 2014, I stood in an empty trailer, or mostly empty. Boxes half packed to not tiny, but small kids asleep on mattresses on the floor. The marriage I had tried to oracle card my way out of for years was finally, officially dead. And the loudest voice in the room wasn't grief or even anger at him. Instead, it was screaming at me. You knew. Every red flag you read for strangers, you ignored in your own bed. You knew better. That voice would say. And boy, that self-betrayal tasted worse than any lie him or I ever told. Because I had betrayed my own magic. I had quieted my intuition to keep the peace. To be the good wife. The good mom. The good girl who could fix anything. And the cost was a life built on a fault line. It started small, but as the years went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger until I practically needed a fucking helicopter to cross it. In fact, I might remember the exact moment when I was sitting on my kitchen floor crying so hard my ribs hurt. And that false voice of reason crept up again and said, "You're ruined. You broke your kids. And you broke yourself. And again." But underneath it, softer, came the real voice. The one we met last episode. The shadow whisper. Forgive her. She did the best she could with the light she had then. That was the brink. Forgiveness, for me, wasn't about him or our relationship or any of that bullshit that happened. It was about pardoning the woman who ignored her own knowing. And that pardon didn't come in one grand ritual. It came in cycles and waves. And chased me since birth like the number 7 I was born under. So it's all your normal stuff, the withdrawal where you disappear and turn off your socials and live in leggings and tears and read tarot only for yourself in the dark. Classic 7 energy, hermit mode activated, right? And the excavation starts. You feel like you can finally tunnel out of the bullshit. The part where you journal every I knew better until the pages are raw. Where you name the shame out loud to the crows on the power lines until somehow it disappears. Then the integration starts. Slowly, you start to trust the whisper again. One tiny yes at a time. One boundary. One truth. One no that didn't come with an apology. And somehow, at some point, I realized that the old me was compost. And from that rich, dark rot grew everything you see now. The homestead, the readings, this very podcast that's taken me 2 years to get the balls to post. The unapologetic magic. And I realized that the death of the old me wasn't punishment after all. In fact, it was the fertilizer that helped me get where I am now. And here's what the brink taught me that still holds right now in this very moment. November 2025, just before Thanksgiving. It taught me that self-betrayal, forgiven, is the fiercest reclamation that there is. When you pardon the you who knew better and still walked into the fire, you free up all that energy you were using to punish yourself, and suddenly you have power to burn. So, like the magic of the 7 that we are all under this year, and that I've been under for my whole life, and those of you with 7 life paths also have as well. We retreat, reveal, return transformed, not once, but over and over and fucking over again. And every time, We choose ourselves after choosing wrong. We give validation to that shadow whisper. It's helping us to unravel everything that society and everything else told us we should be, so that we can finally step in to who we were meant to be. And so we stand together once again at the heart's edge. And I hope if you take away nothing else from this, you remember that the old you isn't your enemy. She's the ashes that grew this garden that you are now. And it's beautiful. So, we just have one quick ritual this week, and it's pretty simple. I want you to light a candle or stand in front of a mirror or do whatever makes you feel the most you. And I want you to speak aloud to yourself one time you betrayed your own knowing, without the sugarcoating. Okay? And then I want you to look yourself solid in the eye, and I want you to say, I forgive you. I forgive you because you did the best you could with the light you had. And then blow the candle out. Watch the smoke rise. Watch the past leave with it. And then these are your journal prompts to carry with you this week, my friends. Where are you still punishing yourself for an I knew better? What did that younger you need that you can give yourself now? And my favorite of all, what new life is trying to root in the space forgiveness just made? Our affirmation. Not super long. You can say it with me out loud or just in your heart and use it whenever you need to. I forgive the person who knew better and walked forward anyway. Their courage is my crown. Because of them, I am whole. I am rising. And I am forgiven. And I love you. Next time on Hearth's Edge Unraveled, crows and unseen allies, decoding the messengers at your edge with a collective oracle pull. And it will be dropping next week. Same time, same channel. So stay close. Until then, end your flame. You're the magic, my loves. And this is Magic Mom from the Hearth's Edge. Wishing you sweet unravelings.